Okay, folks, so our first topic, and what was going to be our next topic whenever we met in class, is how do we first of all, use our calculator, and then how do we do some pretty straightforward calculations. And what we're going to do is we're going to be calling it like the unit factor method or unit conversion. We're going to start by looking at our calculator, and remember that our class calculator was the Casio FX260 Solar. Um, I can't guarantee that that's what you're using or going to use for the rest of this class because you're not sitting in the classroom with me. Um, but I'm going to show you how to use it just to make sure that we're all on the same page, because I don't want to jump into a lot of math without you having some instruction on it. If you are like, okay, I already know how to use my calculator, feel free to jump ahead past this part of the video and you can get to the unit conversion part. Um, but if not, if you need it, please stick around. And so here we're going to do 7.5 times 3.1 plus 2.4. Remember, everything in parentheses goes first. So you're going to work on the parentheses stuff first. So we're going to add 3.1 and 2.4. We're going to get 5.5. So this ends up looking like 7.5 times 5.5, and taking that 5.5 and multiplying it by 7.5, you get 41.25. I know that one's pretty straightforward, not a significant challenge, I don't think, for any of you. You all are quite good at the basic math skills and things, but there are some idiosyncrasies of using these calculators or using any scientific calculator that will be important for us to understand. It will be important for us to understand. So let's skip to the next. Okay, so here we have a term that's squared. 3.14159, you might recognize that as pi. In fact, we did a calculation using pi in class. But here we're going to take and we want to square that 2.7. So imagine this, it would be pi r squared. So maybe that's the radius of something in centimeters or millimeters or feet or whatever it might be. And we're trying to figure out what the pi r squared, what the area of that circle would be. So here we want to take the 2.7 and square it. So I'm going to clear everything off the screen. I'm going to type in 2.7. And if you notice right here, the very top row, third over, there's a square button, x squared. So if I press that, it will square it. And notice that what I want to encourage you to do is to write down things in steps. Because it's easier to visualize it. It's easier for me to grade it, to be completely honest, if you write down as many steps as possible. Now I'm going to multiply that by 3.14159, and I'm going to get 22.90. Again, you might be one of those folks who thinks significant figures, and yes, we would do that normally in a chemistry class, but for this one, we're not going to worry about it a whole lot. Next, we want to make sure that we can convert to scientific notation. All right. This one we're actually not going to need the calculator for. I want to take this number, 0.0007654. I'm going to convert that to scientific notation. And remember, scientific notation is more or less, if we're converting this into this form, we're going to have 7.654 times 10 to the some exponent. All right, and the way we figure out that what the exponent of 10 would be in the scientific notation is we're going to take the decimal point and we're going to put it right there, and we're going to count the number of places that we have to move that decimal place to get there. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, notice we're making a small number into a larger number, and so that's not just 4, it's minus 4. If we had something like 7,654 or 76,540, and we want to convert that to scientific notation, we would again want 7.654 times 10 to the something. Well, where's the decimal place here? It's in that place, and we have to move it 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So this time we've taken a large number and we've made it smaller. When we take a large number and make it smaller, the exponent for scientific notation is positive. So it'd be 7.654 times 10 to the fourth. Oh my gosh, I see their fingerprints all over my calculator. Sorry, that's really gross. All right, one more. Now we're going to take and we're going to use a number in scientific notation, and we are going to have to type that into the calculator. We're just going to use that 7.654 times 10 to the minus fourth, and then we're going to square it. So we're going to have to learn two things. We're going to have to learn how to type a number like that into the calculator. Then we're going to have to square it, and then we're going to multiply it by pi, 3.14159, and then we'll be done with our calculator part for today. So I want to start with converting that to scientific notation. And I'm going to use a notation here where every key punch on the calculator I'm going to include or put as a box. And I'm going to put 7.654. 7.654. Then I need to enter this times 10 to the minus fourth part. And this is where your calculator, and almost all scientific calculators are similar, but they're not going to be exactly the same. And for us, the button or the function that we're going to need is going to be called exp. And exp is going to take the place of times 10 to the some power. So our next key press is going to be exp. And when you do that, notice you get these two zeros that show up here. All right, that's the exponent that we have right here. That's the exponent of the 10 part of the scientific notation. So if we want to type in minus 4, we have to do that backwards. We have to go 4 first. So 7.654 times 10 to the fourth is what it is now. And then we need to tell the calculator that that's not 4, but it's minus 4. And we're going to use this plus or minus button over here on the left. And when we press it, now we have 7.654 times 10 to the minus fourth on our calculator. Don't be fooled. That's not 7.654 to the minus fourth power. It's 7.654 times 10 to the minus fourth power. So just be careful about that. All right, so now we have this number in our calculator. We can go ahead and square it. We know where the square button is, so we're just going to square that number. Remember, write down steps. So 5.858 times 10 to the minus 7th. All right, and now we want to multiply that by 3.14159. So I multiply that, and I end up with 1.8405 times 10 to the minus 8th power. There you go. Just a little bit of brush up on how to use your calculator, how to do some basic math. It's not like we're going to veer into a lot of math at this point, but we're going to be doing some, and I wanted to make sure that you're aware how to use the calculator. If you're all good with calculators, perfectly fine. But if you're not, hopefully this gives you a little bit of an introduction on how to get started with using some of these scientific calculators. Unit conversion coming next.